Are you curious to uncover the dark side of law enforcement? In this shocking expose, we reveal the stories of 6 corrupt police officers who betrayed the badge and paid the ultimate price: life behind bars. Before we start our journey, make sure to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon for more update. Today, we're diving into the shocking stories of 6 police officers who disgraced their badges and were sentenced to life in prison for their crimes. You won't believe the corruption and betrayal behind these cases. Number 6. Daniel Holtzclaw. Daniel Holtzclaw, a former Oklahoma City police officer, took advantage of his authority to abuse vulnerable African-American women. Over a 6-month period, he committed terrible crimes, including rape and forced oral sodomy. Holtzclaw targeted women in some of the city's poorest neighborhoods, thinking their criminal backgrounds would stop them from speaking out. However, 13 courageous women came forward, sharing their harrowing experiences and detailing how his assaults grew worse over time. When the case went to trial, Holtzclaw chose not to testify, even though his father was a police lieutenant. The jury found him guilty, and the judge sentenced him to 263 years in prison, reflecting the gravity of his offenses. This sentence marked an important victory for the victims, highlighting a moment where justice was served in a system that often fails to protect the most vulnerable. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump called it a landmark victory, while also questioning why there wasn't a louder outcry for these women. Number 5. Brandon Boone. Brandon Boone, once a trusted Winter Haven police officer, is now facing serious legal trouble. He's been charged with felony battery following a disturbing incident in a Polk County jail. It all started when security footage showed Boone kneeing a handcuffed inmate, Ronald Augustin, and then dragging him into a dark room. Augustin claims that Boone and other officers brutally assaulted him, resulting in a broken leg. The incident, which took place on June 23, 2018, led to a 2-month investigation by the Polk County Sheriff's Office, ending with Boone's arrest on August 28, 2018. Despite the evidence, Boone denies any wrongdoing, and the case is heading to trial. His lawyer, Walt Otto, has indicated that the trial could be lengthy and complex, with many witnesses involved. Otto also mentioned difficulties in reaching a settlement with the state attorneys, meaning the legal battle is far from over. Boone's case highlights the serious consequences officers can face when accused of abusing their power, especially when clear video evidence is involved. As the trial approaches, all eyes will be on how the justice system handles this case. Number 4. Michael Dotro. Michael Dotro, a former Edison police officer who made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Dotro is known for taking drastic and illegal actions against his boss, Captain Mark Anderko. In a shocking act of revenge, Dotro set fire to Anderko's home while he and his family were asleep inside. This was not just a random act. Dotro also tried to interfere with witnesses to cover up his crime. His actions were so severe that they led to a 20-year prison sentence as part of a plea deal. When the judge sentenced him, Dotro remained silent and showed no signs of regret. His crime spree didn't just affect the Anderkos, it lasted for 5 years and caused many people to lose their jobs as a result of his reckless behavior. Dotro's story is a stark reminder of how dangerous it can be when someone with power abuses it. His case shows just how far someone can go when they let their anger and revenge control their actions. Number 3. Michael Sipple. Michael Sipple, a former police officer from Rochester. In 2018, Sipple was involved in an incident where he wrongly arrested Christopher Pate, a city resident. During the arrest, Sipple punched Pate, causing a serious facial injury. The whole thing happened because of a mix-up in identities. Sipple argued that Pate was resisting arrest, but the judge didn't buy it. City Court Judge Thomas Rainbow Morse said Sipple's reaction was way too harsh and sentenced him to 3 years of probation. The judge pointed out that the whole situation had a big impact on both Pate and Sipple, causing a lot of stress for both of them. Despite this, the judge made it clear that Sipple should have been more careful and not used excessive force. This case is a strong reminder of why accountability in law enforcement is crucial. It shows that even those in positions of power must be held responsible for their actions. It's important for police officers to act within the law and use their power wisely, ensuring that their actions are justified and fair. Number 2. William Demby Jr. The case of William Demby Jr. is both tragic and disturbing. Demby, a former corrections officer, received a life sentence in prison for the horrific murder of his wife, Holly. This terrible event took place in August 2011. During that awful day, Demby chased Holly through their home with a combat knife. He brutally stabbed her multiple times before pushing her out of a window. window. In court, the scene was highly emotional. Holly's uncle was so overcome with grief and anger that he had to be held back after shouting at Demby, calling him a cold-blooded killer. Despite the gravity of his actions, Demby showed no remorse. In fact, he even tried to shift some of the blame onto his mother-in-law, which only added to the courtroom's anger and distress. The judge's statement highlighted how chilling and senseless this crime was, stressing that Demby's actions were a stark example of the severe consequences of domestic violence. The case serves as a grim reminder of how deadly domestic disputes can become, and underscores the need for vigilance and support for those in dangerous situations. Number 1. Eric DeValconaire. Eric DeValconaire, a former Kansas City police officer who was convicted for the 2019 shooting of Cameron Lamb, a black man. DeValconaire was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. However, he was granted an appeal bond, which means he can stay out of prison while he appeals the conviction. The shooting happened under troubling circumstances. DeValconaire and his partner, who were in plain clothes, entered Cameron Lamb's property without a warrant. At the time, Lamb was backing his pickup truck slowly into his garage when he was shot. This incident sparked a lot of debate and outrage. Lamb's family, while feeling that the sentencing was fair, continues to struggle with their loss. Their pain is still very real. This case underscores serious concerns about police conduct and accountability. It's part of a larger conversation about how police actions are monitored and how justice is served in our communities. The case of Eric DeValconaire is a clear reminder of the ongoing issues surrounding police misconduct and the need for continued efforts to address and resolve these issues. It's a call for better practices and more transparency to ensure that justice is truly served. These stories serve as powerful reminders that justice must be upheld, even among those sworn to protect it. While these officers tried to escape accountability, the law caught up with them. Stay tuned for more stories that expose the truth behind the badge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.